What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk a little bit about Rachel Amber in Life is Strange Before the Storm. Now, this is more of just a discussion, more of just me talking about a specific thing I want to talk about, and I want to definitely hear from you guys what you think about this as well. This is, of course, in preparation for the game, Episode 1, Awake, coming out on Thursday, so this is a little lead up to it. Like I said, on Thursday, we're going to have a special video for Life is Strange, and we're going to have some videos towards the weekend, in the weekend for the game. But in this video, I want to talk about Rachel, and ultimately I want to talk about, is it a good idea to have her be in this game? Now, I saw another YouTube channel talk about this. I think his standpoint was that he isn't necessarily thrilled that Rachel is in this game. And I want to talk about both sides of the argument of Rachel being in the game and if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So Rachel Amber is a fascinating character, right? Obviously, she is one of the biggest characters that we never get to see or interact with in any video game ever. I said that in the preview for Life is Strange Before the Storm. I compared her to Ish in The Last of Us, who has a whole storyline, a whole lot of knowledge about him without ever actually meeting him. He's the guy who kind of starts his own underground civilization when the apocalypse hits. And Rachel, I'd argue, is the second biggest character of that kind of same mold, where you don't get to see her, you never interact with her, but she has a huge purpose in Life is Strange. You know, people thought she had powers, right? People thought she had time travel powers, and Max was like a reincarnation of her. I believed that even for a little while too. It was believable. You know, I didn't know if they would actually kill Rachel or they would connect it where Rachel really is Max, just in a different timeline, or all sorts of things. But she was a fascinating character to understand, like, what happened to her and what was going to happen to her. And then obviously we found out, right? She was killed. She went into the dark room. She was captured, brought into the dark room, and was killed there. So that was the end of her story. But what she means to Chloe obviously is so much more than that. She was Chloe's best friend after Max left, when she left at the age of 10. And then obviously when Max came back, it kind of filled the void that Rachel left Chloe when Rachel disappeared. So they kind of alternated back and forth, and it made a lot of sense that Rachel and Max were the same character. But that's not what this is about. What it's about is it a good idea that now we are going to be able to see and interact with Rachel Amber? Rachel, I think, is a special and big character because we never got to see her. We don't really know what she was like. All we hear was stories. All we heard was what Chloe and the rest of Arcadia Bay told us about her, about how Max reminds a lot of people of her, how Max resembles her in terms of like personality in a lot of ways, how she means the same to Chloe as Rachel did, maybe a little bit more, but so all we hear is stories, and like, not legends, because it happened, but legends also could have happened. But we hear stories of Rachel, and that is really what the character is. It's just what we're told. And to some, that holds a special meaning, and I get that. Now, I honestly am on the other side of it. I think it's a good thing that we're seeing her. I do think they can mess it up and they could ruin it. I do think that. But I think it's a good idea and something worth exploring to actually see her and interact with her. But I get both sides. So the bad side, obviously, is that it could ruin her. We know about her. She's a strong character without even meeting her. She's a very good character in a video game franchise. Is it necessary to actually meet and interact with her and understand her any bit more? Not really. We don't necessarily need that. But so that's where that really ends, in my opinion. If you guys have any other reasons why you don't want to see her, other than that, and other than the fact that they could ruin her character. They could definitely do that. They could ruin her character and how she is. They could make her, I don't know, unlikable when maybe they want her to be likable, or likable when they want her to be unlikable. There's a lot of they could, this is not the same studio. This is Deck 9 Studios that is making Before the Storm. They could even get some things wrong in storytelling of what happened to her. I'm sure diehard Life is Strange fans would be able to catch if they made a mistake. Now, I don't know if that is going to happen. They're very talented developers who, had to go through rigorous testing in order to be able to make Life is Strange before the storm. So I don't know necessarily if that would ever happen. I don't think it would ever happen, but ultimately we're left with the fact that they could actually ruin her character in the game. But what are the positives? What's the bright side of this is they do have an opportunity. This is a shot. This is a shot to show what Rachel actually was, who she actually was. Obviously, you can just get more out of her character if you're talking to her, if you have dialogue with her, if you have decisions based on her, if you build this relationship between Chloe and Rachel. And ultimately, that is what is going to, I think, drive the game forward and make this game special. Life is Strange was special for a ton of different reasons. One of the reasons was the relationship between Max and Chloe. Now you have Chloe as the main character, but you also need a secondary character that you don't play as that's also a main character of the game, and that will be Rachel. Is that putting too much on her? Could be, but it's a chance for those two to form chemistry, to actually come together, to show us this relationship that those two had together. And again, that's where I think it's going to shine the brightest, is that they have an opportunity to show what kind of relationship they had, so that we know how this ends. We know Rachel's going to get captured, but in the world, she's going to disappear. She's going to drop off the face of the earth. We know she's going to end up dying. She's going to get killed. But this is their chance to make us really care about her, so we can feel the loss of her, and we'll still feel it through Chloe. I think in Life is Strange, when we find out Rachel's dead, we felt the loss through Chloe. How really broken and hurt she was that Rachel died. That is where we felt it. But now that hopefully they'll get to show us how her character is, now we can feel it just a perspective that we're losing a character that we actually know, we've actually seen, we can actually identify. So that's the flip side. It actually adds more immersion to the overall story of Life is Strange, even though obviously this is going to just end, Before the Storm is just going to end without it telling us that Rachel dies. So if you never play Life is Strange Season 1, you'll never know, really. So you're going to obviously have to play both titles, both games. But this is a good opportunity. I'm excited to see what they can do. I'm hopeful that they can make this work. Like I said, I'm on the side where I think this is a good idea. I think that Rachel could be a strong character. I think there's a lot of things they could do with her and Chloe's relationship, as long as it's not ripping off exactly scene for scene her and Max. I don't want that identical relationship, because Chloe and Max are two complex characters that have a complex relationship. Same thing with Rachel and Chloe. They're two complex characters that have a complex relationship, but they're not the same complex characters, and they're not the same complex relationship, so I don't want it to be the exact same. So we'll have to see how they actually do it when the game releases. So let me know what you guys think. Does Rachel belong in this game, or would you rather have had a game with Chloe and not Rachel in it? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now, for more of this stuff. Like and share the video, and I will see you guys for our Life is Strange Before the Storm content starting on Thursday.